the equipment. At the very end, we'll do the Aqua Link so you can do the apps on the phone. And then answer any other questions that you guys may have.
Okay.
Just make sure this is working and you can see him.
Oh, it's already recording.
Good. It is?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Then we're good.
Says we're gonna forget shit.
Yeah, we will. That's the reason.
Yeah, no, I give a lot of information. And yeah, so it's like, I'm basically telling you how to, the water, maintain, chemicals, full equipment, and the programming, all in one go. That's a lot of information.
Okay. Yeah.
Did they give you a blue test kit too?
Yeah.
Can see that as well? Yeah. Are you guys going to be maintaining the pool yourself? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, with the pole, down there at the base, that's going to be the main drain. That's what's going to pull all the water from the bottom of the pool. When you do all the brushing, you're kind of brushing all the debris that happens to settle into the pool towards the main drain and let it help pick it up. When you guys put the robotic cleaner, it's going to start help picking up all the stuff off the walls and the floor, and the agitation of water is going to help moving that stuff closer to the bottom of the pool. With the returns, the white little returns that are coming around the side of the pool, most pool guys, what they'll do is they'll face them up, and at a 45, all of them going one way. What they're trying to do is get the water to all move in one direction. So if anything that happens to fall on top of the water, it can circulate around and let the skimmer pick it up. Inside the skimmer here, the rear door, when this gets shut off, this is going to go up and stop any kind of debris from getting out of it. During the fall time, just be mindful. Sometimes this thing can get stuck open, and what that happens is the motor will pull all the water that's in there, and it sounds like the motor's going. If that's the case, come over here and check to see if there's adequate water flow coming through here, and making sure that the water level is high enough as well. Hey, for you guys to have a service charge for like $150 versus something small that happens to get stuck, you know. Maintaining it. Most pool guys will brush it once a week and do a vac on it as well, but you guys got the automatic cleaner, so you can just put it in the pool. With that cleaner there, a lot of homeowners will stick it in every day, just enough so it can cycle through, pick up all the dust, and let the system pick it up. To maintain water chemistry, this is pretty cool. So in here, following the steps 1 by 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is going to have you go through testing the chlorine, pH, and alkalinity on the system itself, which tells you exactly what ranges to be in. So for chlorine, you're going to stay in 1.5. pH is going to be at a 7.4, 7.2, and a 7.6 is still okay. But you try to hit the ideal range of 7.4. Alkalinity, it doesn't show it on here, but on here it tells you to keep between 80 and 120. How you would do that is when you put the water in here up to the alkalinity level, you'll use one blue dye, dropping it in. After that, you'll use this neutralizer. Every time you drop it, that's counting as 10. So if you have to be between 80 and 120, when you drop it in there, you'll circle it around until it gets clear or like a yellowish color. That will tell you what range you need to be in. So 8 is 80, 100 is or 10 is 100. And also the instructions to go through and how to test it is on the way here too. What I tend to do is flip this thing over and do it this way. Because there for a while, I was doing this.
Yeah.
And I was making it, it was real fun. I was like, wait a minute, it says I'm off here, but I was like, oh, I bet it took like 15 times before I realized. I was like, yeah, that's smart. So just to do this, if you want to make 100% sure that you guys are like, that you're dead on doing this thing, then if there's a Leslie's around in the area, take a water sample to them and have that tested out.
Gotcha.
So they test for like 9 or 10 different things. So filling up a water bottle to show them, they need all that water to be able to go through and test everything properly. And they'll give you a little, it's probably about yay big, that they'll have you fill up water and go in there once a week to test it. When did it get all the way full?
A week and a half ago.
A week and a half ago? Okay. From when the water first got in all the way full, about 28 to 33 days. That's how long it takes for the plaster to curate to get where it needs to be versus if there's going to be color coming out of it or not. You're going to be fighting pH a lot. So that means you're going to probably find a lot of muriatic acid to be sticking inside the pool. It's going to stop, trust me. It seems like you're going to be buying cases after cases trying to keep that pH level down. But it will stop, it will go away. If you get into the Leslie's and they'll keep testing it, they'll tell you what to put in there versus how many gallons of water that you have in your pool. For them to do that, the supers might have left you something saying how many gallons are supposed to be inside here. If not, you just tell them it's a free-form pool, just write it off, count how many steps you did versus this way and that way and your average depth, and they can get close to what you need to be versus how much chemicals you're going to adjust it to. And that's pretty much the maintenance of the water itself to make it look crystal clear. So the main drain is going to pull everything from the bottom. Skimmer will pull everything from the top. All your returns are going to do is just help make the water go one direction so everything can pick up. You should have probably 2 returns on here that will have no water flow coming through them. One will be an autofill and one's going to be a cleaner line. The autofill is right there. As we'll go there, I'll show you that as well. Do you have any questions about the chemicals or water or anything maintenance? Just brush it for right now. At least once a day for the 30 days from start to finish. What that's going to do is that helps smooth the plaster out. So just like in the beginning, if you guys hopped in there, if anybody or youngins or whatnot started playing, the feet get real soft and the plaster can be kind of rough. The pH, since it's doing all that adjustment and you try to keep that level down and do your brushing, that's what helps smooth everything out so it becomes where it just kind of glides through. So when you're in there, it's not rough at all. With one homeowner I went to, they were doing it 3 times a day, and that's a little excessive, but when I dropped the pole in there to show him something, the thing almost went right out of my hands.
Wow.
Man, that's insane.
Dang.
It was like glass. I've never felt that, it to be that smooth before, so. We'll go over right here, and I'll show you the,
So yeah, like last time I tested it, it showed that it didn't have any chlorine in it.
chlorine. Okay.
I feel like I needed to put some in it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, right now, because imagine how many people are swimming. If you guys have any, if there's any animals that hops into the pool itself, no, okay, good. Because one dog is like 20 people hopping into it at one time. So the chlorine zaps just like that. But if people are swimming and having fun and playing, you're going to battle a little bit, especially in the beginning. Adding muriatic acid, it's going to start dropping maybe that chlorine down a little bit.
I haven't added any.
Any muriatic acid at all?
No, the old guy, he did it one time.
Do a test as well while I'm here, because they have a survey that they want you to fill out saying if somebody did a good job or not. So let's have you guys want to answer that.
I think it's
When
beeping.
you fill that stuff out, I'll do the water test. I'll make sure the cleaners put together properly and any
Yeah,
other
because
kind of
on
stuff.
the robotic thing, I don't know if all the pieces are there.
Okay.
Because they put it out, it was in a box outside and it had rained a bunch. I thought it was an empty box until my brother came over and he's like, what is that? I'm like, I don't know, it's just an empty box. And it was all torn up from the rain and it opened up and I was like, oh crap, this is
Has a whole bunch of stuff in it. Yeah.
This is a freaking robotic machine. Inside, tag out.
Whatever you could find.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they didn't tell her how to put the chemicals
No,
or
they
nothing.
They didn't tell me
So she's, lost on all
Well, that's
that.
what you're here for.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the robot, they didn't tell me was here or anything.
Okay.
Anyway.
still with the autofill. It's not installed. So I'll do that as well. Running through postal stuff, I run across things that's not always done. So when you guys, or when you're filling out that paperwork, I'll install the autofill and you'll come back and I'll show you how to adjust it. And I'll need to blow the line out, make sure there's nothing debris in it, and then I'll put that on there. But if it's working properly, what's gonna help you adjust the water level in your pool so you don't have to keep coming over here and putting the hose in. Splash out evaporation, the big thing that causes it. So I'll do that when you have anything and move over to the equipment. Do you have any questions about anything over here at all?
Not yet.
Not yet? Okay. And while we're going through, I mean, say, hey, Tim, dude, hey, stop real quick. I need to ask you something. That's fine. That's what this is for, because sometimes homeowners will wait to the very end and they'll forget.
This called?
Right.
This should be a volleyball or an umbrella sleeve.
Okay.
You have 1, 2.
And then the third one over here.
Yeah.
So that's the sleeve.
Yeah, that's just sleeve. Actually, you should be able to stick an umbrella post in there.
Okay.
And mastic. They still have mastic to do around the pool section.
Yeah, my brother was asking about that, and I was like, oh, well, that's...
This right here, there's supposed to be like a, not that, but there's supposed to be like a foam, almost like that, but it's the coloring kind of close to what the coping's going to be, and that sits inside there for play of adjustment of sand settling and all that kind of stuff. So that needs to be done as well. So that's done at the very end, so maybe after the pool part, they'll come back in here.
They're going to now for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you hear... Because it's right here, too. My brother was like, no, that's not okay. And I'm like...
Yeah, he
and
sure did.
Googled,
Yeah.
Foam stuff. I'm like, I don't know, it says it's foam.
No, it's a mastic. It feels just like foam, but it's usually a color tint, and it's not that. That's like the spacing that they use to separate the one from the rest. It needs to be, yeah, it needs to have that on.
Good. I'm glad to know that.
So with equipment itself, I'm going to label everything as well, showing direction of water, so when you come over here, you kind of have an understanding of how it's going to flow. So you're not, it's not totally like, okay, what do you say about this or that? Plus, videotaping is going to help us with that as well. So on here, so this side is full suction going into the pump. The bigger diameter pipe right here, this is going to be for the main drain. That was at the bottom of the pool. That's just going to pull the water into the here. The smaller diameter one, this one right here, is going to be the skimmer. That's the stuff that's going to be going to the top of it. I'm going to move the valve. So how the valving system works on here, on everything else that we've ever been taught about how valves are supposed to work. If the handle's facing this way, that means it's water stopped or flow. When it's showing this way going with the pipe, it means it's open. The pool equipment is not like that at all. So where you see on here, where it shows off, and you see these two little brackets that come down, just imagine a gate or a door sticking just like that. So when it's facing this way, the gate's all the way through here, stopping the water flow from going through. If it's shifted this way, it's stopping the skimmer from operating. If it's showing this way, it's stopping the main drain from operating. Right now, it's facing up with these two toggles this way. If it's faced this way, it can deadhead the pump. What I'm going to put it on the opposite side, so that cannot happen. I tell this story all the time with homeowners. I had a guy, a homeowner that I went to. I said sort of somewhat that sounded like buddy now. A homeowner just went over to the pool school. He's been tilting back a little bit all night with his friends. Had a bunch of cool stuff on his pool. Came over here, started flipping valves. This is with another pool company. I get a call the next day. Man, I did something wrong. I said, oh, dude. All right, I'll be out there as soon as I can. Went out there. he closed the whole entire system off. I don't know how he did it, but he did it. This pipe here was the size of a football.
Wow.
So I was like, well, that's not good. So he had it for 24 hours. So if you come out here and you see something that doesn't sound right, I'll show you how to shut it off immediately. But just make sure that the water flow is able to go through the whole entire system in one big loop. But when you're moving this way, there'd be no way that this can shut off. Okay? But if you come out here, it's happened. Oh, it's not the homeowner's fault. Somebody will come out here messing with something, and then something messes up. On this side right here, in the spa itself, there's another circle that looks just like what's on the pool for the main drain. It's only going to be in the spa. This is the fatter diameter pipe. That's what's going to pull the water from the spa coming into the unit. On here, as you can see, it shuts off. There's no water flow being sucked from the spa. This here is a JVA. What this means is whatever buttons that you're going to hit on the phone, it's going to automatically turn this every time that you hit a button. If you want to turn on spa mode, you hit it, your valve systems will move, so you'll be able to put it on spa. Say you're headed in, long day from somewhere, from work or wherever, on vacation, come in, like, man, I want to hop in the spa, heat it up, hit a button. By the time you roll in, bam, the thing's already nice and warm. Hop in there, relax. That's good. So the water comes through the system. How to change out this basket? What I tend to do is the wagon valve. I like to open it up to relieve the pressure in the line. So say, if you're headed out and you just want to check the basket real quick and say, you know, you just don't want to get water on your feet, or you have some nice dress shoes or whatever on, go ahead and shut that, or open that valve up. When it drops down and you pop it open, you won't get water splashing on you. On here, it has a lock position and a start position, just like this. All I'm going to do is bump it so these both can turn this way. When it's in the start position, facing the pipe, it means the top can come off. Once the top comes off, I can remove the basket. As you can see, there's a notch here, and there's an opening here. This can only go one way. If you start sliding in a way that's not going to leak, it's going to get tight extremely quick. When it's not, it just slides right on through the opening, so the water can slide through, and the basket comes back on. I'll get that on start, and it slides right down. If I try it another way, it's not going to let me go that way. If I move it around, it drops in, turn it, put it back in lock position, facing the pipe. That locks it up. This here is what they use just to kind of pressurize the system up. Some people use it as like a water hose or whatnot. I don't suggest that, just because it's burning the pool when you use it. Just leave it shut off, and the service tech or somebody that can come out here and do something, they can use that valve just to freeze lines out or pressurize the system. On here, this back, that's what helps release the pressure inside the tank. When I start the system up, I'm going to show you what this is used for. It's helped to get all the air out of the system and helps that impeller to roll a little bit easier, so there's not so much back pressure on the line. On the face of this, there's a toggle. This outside position moves.
Jamie, this is still working because I can't, it keeps beeping. I hate to interrupt y'all, but
Squat? No.
I told you, I knew it, so it wasn't working the whole time. I didn't touch it either. That's why you don't wear it on your head, I guess.
Alright, we're gonna start from the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know what it did. That's why I didn't touch it. You might have to turn it back on and do it over. It just beeps. It's junk is what I think.
Alright, you're recording.
Okay. I don't know how it turned off itself.
We're only recording a minute and a half.
Dang it.
If there's any questions that come up, also, I mean, get a hold of Premier and talk with them too. They'll be able to give a line out.
Oh my God.
Leslie's. You can take a picture, and plus having everything marked, we'll be able to go through.
I should have just did it on my phone.
And you can show them, say, hey, I was wondering about this, or how this is going to work properly. Once I have everything labeled, and you can make sure the camera's on. I'll
Right.
go through the valving system one more time.
Okay, that would be good.
So,
We'll just use my phone.
Okay, yeah, because this is thing. If it's gonna shut off, I mean, we don't know. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
yeah, no, that's fine. So up on top of here, where this thing be able to move, what we do is when you turn on the system, it pressurizes up, and you're going to check to say if this thing is at 10 psi, you're on clean. You put that toggle there. Once it jumps another 10 psi to dirty, that's when the filtration systems need to be cleaned, or the cartridges in here need to be cleaned. There's going to be 3 times that it could be cleaned. Twice a year, definitely.
Yeah.
Right after spring, everything's in bloom, all that pollen gets into the air, falls on. Now sometimes we get that little yellow haze on vehicles. That's the same thing, the pool's going to act like a magnet, pulling all of it to it. Once the pool picks it up and before summer hits, you're going to get this thing clean so you have a nice fresh cartridges going through the summertime. You're going to do the exact same things for the fall. So after everything's fallen off the leaves, all of the tree, the wind kicks up, storms come through, everything gets into the pool, and after right before winter hits, you're going to do another clean on it as well. The only time that you may do one more in between it is like when we have hurricanes or tropical storms come through, knocks a bunch of stuff in the pool, and you'll see it. You'll definitely see this thing jump up once it's up high, above 10 psi above what's supposed to be clean. They do a filter clean on it then as well. I should always suggest before you do the first one yourself, have a pool tech come out, because they'll show about shutting the system down, opening up the belly clamp, what to look for on the pleats, the whole 9 yards, resetting the system, putting the belly clamp back and making sure that's going to pressure up properly. So it's always good to have someone come back out to check it. So after the system,
God, you scared the shit out of me.
I'm sorry, I thought you was looking at him and he looked up at me, so that was the only reason I didn't say nothing. Yeah, for any reason you forget anything?
I don't need these.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for any reason you forget anything, let me know.
so then down here, this is just a drain plug. So when you pull the cartridges out, you can open it up and drain the system all the way. Water going through the line, this is going to be the temp sensor. That's what's going to read the temperature on the pool and the spa itself too. So when we turn on the system and look at the phone, when it's in spa mode, you'll see it'll start reading the temperature of the spa. And when it's in pool mode, it'll read that temperature, but it won't read them simultaneously at the same time. Water comes to the system.
And that's just the water that's coming through is what they're reading. It's not actually reading like out there.
Yeah, no, it's whatever's
whatever's in
coming
here.
through.
Okay.
Yeah. So they put it right off the system because that gives it almost like a true reading going back in,
Okay.
Versus how long the run is going into the ground. Because I think it comes out pretty warm, like 130. By the time it hits there, it's dropped 40, 50 degrees by the time it hits there. And then it just depends on how cold that water is, on how much it's going to take to heat up. Like it's 50 degrees outside, 60, it's going to take a little bit to get to 80. If it's at 80, it's going to get up to 90 in a second.
Wow.
It's 90, and you'd be surprised, there's one old dude, he leaves his pool at 95 degrees all year round.
Wow.
How big is your field, man?
Yeah.
All year round he's at 95. That thing is always cooking. Like, man, but he's in it every single day. So it just comes through here. This line right here is your backwash line. So if you need to drain the pool, or you're kind of doing a clean on it, you want to kind of get that dirty water out, they should have a line going out front someplace where it kind of pivots up and goes down into another bigger diameter pipe. That's what that's going to be for. This will stay closed the whole entire time unless you need to backwash the system. With a cartridge system, you'd probably never open that line. But for some areas, they call for it to have a backwash. Just matters on what city that you're in. Like in Houston, they don't call for it. In Katy they do, Tulsa they do, Hitchcock they do. So just a clean outline. Water will come through here, going through the heater. It always runs through the heater. It helps keep a little stagnant water being in don't want any heavy chlorinated water to sit inside there to mess up the copper heating coils. So the water will go through the system, come back out. On this actuator here, we'll split two different ways. This side is the spa, and this side right here will be your pool. So right now how it's shut off, there's no water going to the spa itself. If you have it split over. So it's already probably programmed in the system. You hit a button, the valve will open up, and the water will come over the side of the spa, giving you that spillover look. You can have those set up two different ways, where it's constantly doing it, or you can have where you hit a button where you can shut it off or turn it on whenever. Some people don't like to hear that water constantly going, so they like to have it shut off. Coming through here, this is going back to the pool itself. This Nature 2 cartridge, this is only good for the first 30 days. After that, it's no good no more. You can pick one up from Leslie's. The new ones that you'll put in here, they last for 6 months. So a mineral cartridge, what that does is it helps kills out any extra bacteria, helps the chlorine out, helps keeps rid of any kind of algae problems. They probably run between the new one between 80 and maybe 100 or something bucks, but they last 6 months. And if you have a lot of dirt and debris or leaves and stuff that's always hitting that pool, they can actually be a lifesaver on the chemicals in the long run.
Okay.
This should be hand tight. Moving this back and forth, and this whole entire system just comes right on. Here's just this air ring that's on there. If you happen to get a leak, this might be straightened a little bit and that needs to be replaced. This slides right back on in. Turn the top on. And just lock it down with the hands. It doesn't have to be wrenched in. On this, the tabs sit in here. What I like to do is remove the handle first. It took me like 100 pool schools to realize that I was always having a problem. It's easy to move that. Open up the collar. After the collar is off, I just shake it back and forth, and this slides out. I have slides in. So with this, with the cylinder here, this will just be filled up with tabs. What I tend to do, I'll stack my tabs here. I'll drop the cylinder on it, lift it over and pick it up. Just be mindful if you don't do that and this thing's full of water and you're dropping your tabs in, you're going to get that backsplash of tabs.
You're talking about chlorine tabs?
Oh, yeah, chlorine tabs. And then I have some stuff that I can right up here.
So you know this thing kept shutting off.
And it just turns and sits right back on there. So you saw I had to turn around until I found where it sits. On all the systems, they're like that. How do you turn it? It should slide right through. If they catch, that means it's not quite biting right. Get the collar ring back on. Turn it. And you lock that in. On this dialing system, it goes from 1, meaning the least amount of chlorine that you're going to be using to put into the pool, all the way to a 6. During the summertime, we're going to probably be hovering between 4 and a 6. So you know, man, I'm going to have a bunch of people over here later. I want to make sure I'm going to stay adequate of all these people hopping into the pool. You may jump it up to a 5 or a 6 and let that thing run so it can stay ahead of the game. During the winter time, you're not going to need to run it at a 6 because there's not that much sun beating down on that water. So then you're going to be moving it between a 1, 2, or 3 during the winter time because you don't need it. It's not going to use all that much chlorine for it, so you're going to save on your tabs then. So during the summer, you put it on a 5. Coming back through the system on your return, one side is going to be bubblers, and the other side is going to be your returns. So when I turn everything, when I label everything, we'll go back through, we'll start playing with the valves so you can see what turns on and what goes off. But here, the same thing, you have the off position. With the system turned on, this thing will slightly crack. I believe you have bubblers on the timer vents right there. That'll let that stuff come shooting through. And that's closed all the way off. You get pure circulation to move all that water on the pool around. I've seen homeowners, as grandpa, his grandkids, he'll take those heads, they're adjustable, he points them facing outside the pool. He'll hold this thing down, and his kids coming close, he'll hit the button, or his grandkids come out, and he'll shoot the kids. So, it's your full equipment. There's some stuff you can have fun and play with, but the main thing is with the system, especially when it comes to that, and it's going to be online, you're just going to have to get in it. There's so much stuff you can do on the programming side. It's insane. Premiere, we're going to go in this route is really, it's good stuff. Real good. This line here, that's off by itself, this is a cleaner line. So, even though that you have that robotic cleaner sitting inside there, say 4 or 5 years from now, you're like, man, that robotic cleaner is great, but I don't want to use it anymore. I'm just getting tired of it. Premiere plumbs this thing in to give you the option to use a suction or a propulsion side cleaner. So instead of some pull-out companies, they don't even put this thing in. If you wanted that to happen, they would have to go back in, bust the gunite out, or you would have to use the skimmer, and it would be just a pain. You'd be limited then too. We're then adding this right here, just leaving it stubbed up. It gives you that option down the road if you want to use a different style or type of cleaner, and with that option. With this, I don't know if that's for secondary or if you guys are adding anything later on. It's usually just the system here.
What could I add there?
With that, I'll have to get with the super and know what that drain cap or that line is for. Usually when they cap out, it's for an existing line for something else, but I don't know if that's on your plan or not. So.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to add a waterfall.
Okay, so that's what that's going to be for first.
Okay, so that goes to the waterfall.
Yeah, so that's going to...
Where the buckets are, that's I guess the other side of that.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so that'd be for the secondary line, so they'll probably put another pump out here, or what they'll do is they'll convert a valve coming off of this system here.
Off of this one?
Yeah, off of that, so then when you hit a button to use a spillway, the waterfall will come on as well. So that'd be actually pretty neat. So all your water effects will come on at one time. But it just matters on how they plumb it. That's just guessing on the plumbing configuration.
I should have picture of this one.
You took a picture of it? And so that'd be how they'll tie that from here. With the heater itself, we're gonna have, I don't know if you guys already had, or if you had anybody come out to do the upgrade on the unit or not yet? No? Okay.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
So, the super or the Premiere, what they usually do when you have the heater here, you have center point come out and they double check to do a tie-in.
Yeah.
Where's your gate?
It's going to be right here.
Oh, they're going to come in and install it? What is this running off right now? Okay. So they're going to come in and install the unit or the gas line and all that kind of stuff from the city?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Okay. I mean, I have to dig a trench first and whatever.
Okay. Do you have an existing one here already?
A gas line?
Yeah.
It's about 6 foot off that post. Towards me, going this way.
Okay. Alright.
I know that's a long trench.
Yeah. Good day, digger. Yeah, I used to dig these. So when that gets installed in, what they'll do is if they'll find out what the right meter is, they'll check the house versus this system itself, and then they'll tie everything in, and they'll bleed the line. And they'll do all that at one time. I'm going to go ahead and I'll put this thing in bypass mode. So what that does is it just lets the system recognize that there's a heater here, and when everything does get tied in, you can just hit a button, put it into sprawl mode, and everything will kick on. So you don't have to have somebody come back out here and try to program something for you. It's already ready to go.
Okay.
And this line right here, this is going to be for the blower. This is all the air that goes in through the spa. So, turning the blower on now. So the bubbles coming up, they look like they're sitting right next to the wall. That's just because that's just the bubblers going. You see all that backsplash that's coming over. Everything is going. Water and air would hit that at the same time and shoot all those air out towards the middle of the pool or middle of the spa. So it won't be. It looks like, well, man, it's right up against the back end. It's going to push all that stuff out. So you're going to definitely feel it hit your back, and then it'll look 100 times different with all that air mixture and everything comes through. On this system here, I have it in service mode. Sorry. I have it in service mode. Service mode, what this allows me to do is to be able to operate everything here just by the box, and nobody can get into the system versus wireless. So if I was back here changing the motor, no one could turn it on and zap. Everything is be able to control back here. I should be turning off the breaker anyway, but just in case. If I had to put chemicals or change this thing out or do whatever that's going to be real quick, I can operate everything by service mode. Timeout is it kind of acts like service mode. What that does is it lets you operate everything for about 2 to 3 hours, and then it will switch back over into auto mode. The reason why you would use, say, timeout is if you found out, like, okay, my pool runs really well running from 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon during the summertime. So you did have a tech that came over here and does all the chemicals, and they showed up at 3, but they put some muriatic acid in or whatever it is to adjust the chemicals in the pool. They may want this thing to run for just a couple hours to circulate all that chemicals in the pool. So then they'll put it in timeout, hit filter pump, make sure the chemicals are in, they'll do what it needs to do. Once it runs to 3 hours, it shuts off and puts it back into auto. And auto would be is whatever that you have already preset in the system for what it needs to do and how it needs to run. Do you have any questions? And that's it for this system here. And then I'll grab tabs off my truck.
Okay, so only turn this, and I want to clean that.
Clean that out, yeah.
Okay.
And you don't have to. People come out there and pop it open, but just know that all that, whatever, if there's gunk and crap and just stuff inside that thing, and you pop it, and that water comes flushing from this thing and back into the system, it's going to spew all that stuff back out. Once you drain that thing down, let that water get out of it, it's going to try to help set some of that stuff inside it too. During the fall, like these guys, especially that one right there, you may be getting stuff that's going to be getting in there. So if it's going to be raining a day or two, and you come out here, you just don't want to look in and be like, man, I'm going to have to stick my hand down inside there and pull that crap out. That just helps you to get a better look on it and have something to grab with that face right there to be able to pull it out. On your internet, do you know on your modem, do you have a WPS button on there? You do?
I've already got the app downloaded.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't already seen it.
Yeah.
Woo! I love that. I love that. Alright,
So this gap is not too big?
no, it's just major, this pinch right here is what they're looking for.
Okay.
What they try to get it within, it's within 1/16 of an inch. That's budded. But I've seen them a little bit fatter. The main thing is they're trying to really stress to make sure that this thing is all the way sealed off. Because you're going to be putting 20 PSI on this, or even more sometimes. It needs to make sure that that belly clamp can hold that system in place. To turn the system on, say, because we already had, say we opened this up, and we popped it open, we cleaned the filtration system out, everything was up and going, and this thing has a lot of air inside of it. And we just changed that out as well, right? It's down over here.
Okay.
The water's going to keep on. So what do? while it's in service mode, I hit filter pump. Instead of sucking the air now, it's pushing it back out, trying to prime the system. The impeller doesn't have any back pressure with this being open, so it can go freely and help pull more water through. I wait till the system's almost all the way primed up. It should spit a little bit of water here in a couple seconds. Once it does that, I'm going to take this valve, turn it clockwise, and I'll shut it down and we'll be good to go. Just like that. Water's coming out, so I know it's all the way full. I shut this off. Now I can look at the front of this. This is telling me about 17 psi is where it's going to be clean. This may drop one more time after a good filter clean on it too. If it drops again and it goes down to 14 psi, then that's when you're going to have the adjustment at. It won't be too much different than from what it is now, because during this process there shouldn't be a lot of debris kick, unless there's been a lot of construction and a lot of dirt has been getting into the pool. Then you might check it in a month or so and just see how it's going to be. Once I want to take it out of service, what I like to do is shut everything off. Once I shut everything off, then I put it back into auto. So whoever's came out here before has a time set for it already. So that's why when I put it in auto, it automatically kicks on. So whatever, if they had a set come out here early to do it for startup, it might work. Any questions? Alright. That's a lot of stuff on there.
It is.
Alright, here you go.
Yeah.
So you have that, chemicals, all that stuff, how that operates, how this operates, and now we'll go to the phone. And you already set up and everything. Are you still videotaping?
Yeah.
Okay. The number right here that's on the side,
Yes.
this is going to be the serial number that it asked for, and there's also one inside this system too. So if this gets rubbed off, there's one also in here.
Perfect. Okay. Great.
So like that number, I don't know if you have the yellow pamphlet that has it on there.
All pamphlets got watered down. I don't have a single pamphlet.
Okay. This right here is the number that you typed in, and there's also one inside here, so you can never really lose that number until it's in from my pool. If you need any of like the information from any of the units, Jandy is really good on having the PDFs online. So if you're like, man, how is this supposed to be again, or I need to know what this is, or that blower, all that stuff you can find online. They make everything very, very accessible to get to. I was just trying to check the make sure. So, one touch on the system, what that does is, that lets you say, I want to have my lights to come on, the sprawl to turn over, and to heat up at a certain degree. You can make that and call it whatever you want, and you hit one button and it'll turn on multiple things, instead of having to go through the system and manually doing everything. It's just another little device that they have on it. The web version, this is what's going to get you into the back door of your programming, checking everything out on side here. When everything is up, you see how it looks like little apps that are on the screen. Whenever they're used, they light up. So you've already probably played with this a little bit.
Not the web, but everything else.
Everything else? Okay. So, menu is where we get into more of like the scheduling part of it, system setup stuff. Some of the stuff you might not use that much. you can get into it and play with it a little bit, but since it's hooked to the web, get used to calling Zodiac or the Jandy tech support, and if something gets messed up, they can go into the system, look and see what it is, and they can change it right there and fix it on the spot, whatever program you have in the system. So I suggest getting into it and figuring out everything you can do with it. YouTube is great for it too as well, to figure out if you want to get really in depth into your system. If we go to schedules, you see right now they already have the filter pump and spillways to turn on and off at a certain time. So if we wanted to add something to the system, so we hit add, we look through it and see what we want to do. So we pull it down, extra clean mode. Oops, the lights, I'll label the lights so they don't have a label to it. No, I don't see them. Oh, full lights, sure enough. I can hit full lights, hit select. It's going to be right on full lights. I want all days, so I want them turning on all the time, or every single day, and then I can do my start time. So I want them to come on at 8 o'clock, and I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to do stop time, and so I want them to enter, say 9 o'clock, after I put that in, I'll make sure that 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., I'll hit save. Should be a white bar coming out. Once it's saved, I'll go back to menu, come back in to double check, and there are my full lights, 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then you can also edit anytime or delete anytime that you want to out of the system. Go back to home screen. And it all depends on internet connection stuff too, on how responsive it's going to be. I might not be hitting it right. And then we get to the home screen. As you can see, it says full temp. So that's in, the reason why is because the red dial, I can't hardly see it, it's just saying that it's in full mode, regular filtration. When you have it in SPAL mode, what this will show is going to be SPAL, and then it'll show the temperature of the SPAL. From the beginning, it should be really close to what the temperature is already. So when you have that heater on, it's going to jump.
What's clean mode?
Clean mode, it's another extra auxiliary. So if you want to add something else to it, they just have it labeled as such inside the system.
Okay.
So it's just, you can have somebody at the set come out if there's an open relay inside the system. You had landscape lights. You could put that on here, and you can label landscape lights. They'll have a little toggle that comes up for that too. You can hit that button and landscape lights if you want to. Like if you're going to be doing waterfall, if you wanted to. I don't know, if you talk to Premiere, you could probably get another JVA and make it automated. So you could do that as well. And then they'll program that in here, hook it up to the system, you hit a button, boom, the waterfall will come on from being inside. There's so much stuff that you can do with it, it's like, man, it can get overwhelming. And then to get back to the regular home screen, you just hit exit, come back to it. So, the best thing is, it is a lot of information coming at you. You can still call Premiere, say, hey, I want to go over this one more time. Or, if you feel more comfortable, you can also call Jandy, because it's a secure Jandy system. And then Leslie's taking a picture of the unit. Everybody's always up there to try to help. When it comes to PIMs though, if you have anybody that's going to give you information, you find one person, okay? You The analogy that I give is when you have your first kid, everybody in the family wants to tell you how to raise that child. As soon as you get the second one, everybody gets a little bit quieter. By that third, ain't nobody talking. Same thing with here. You find one person and just stick with them because everybody has their own way of doing something. And your pool itself is different than everybody else's. Every pool has its own thumbprint. Between the plumbing, the 90s, how it's going to operate. If someone says, oh, it needs to be at 10 PSI, they did something wrong. No. Your system is going to operate how your system is going to operate. Their system is going to operate how it's going to operate. You're going to find out, they may come through you and say, man, you need to run it 10 hours a day. You're like, well, you know what? My pool runs great at 8 hours a day. It just depends on how you maintain it, how you take care of it, and how that system is going to do it.
Like, is this it running right now?
Yeah. This is it running.
Okay, because it's been running like...
Yeah, right there. I'll open it up and I'll go back in it. It shouldn't be running 24 hours. It's been running for 24 hours?
Well, I mean, I can't say that because I go to work and all, but...
Okay.
Yeah.
Let him change it. I don't know about her having a high bill.
Yeah.
It's like I hear or I'm trying to sleep. I'm like, oh, does it have to be running right now?
Yeah.
And the only time that you want this pool to be running is during the hottest part of the day. That's the main thing. You want water circulation during the hottest part. And the next time that you're going to hear this kick on, during all those freezes that we get out here living in Houston, that's to be the other time that you'll hear the system kick on. So maybe 3 times. Yeah.
Did you get, though, like how he said to check all the chlorine levels and the pH and the alkalinity to where you know how much to add and all that, though? Okay, good.
Well, he's going to go to bed again.
Okay,
Or he's going to check some of it.
Yeah.
that's what I would do.
Okay. It runs from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So they had it running 1 p.m. to 12 p.m.
It's running in the morning, too.
So, or 12:55. So that means they would have had it running almost 24 hours. Because it would have to go through the AM cycle and then you get to the PM cycle.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so now it's set for 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
That's
It can
good.
only run during. And then, like I said, I'll do the labeling for you. I'll check the cleaner. So, like, if you had an ozonator, another cleaning system on here, you would tie into here. Or if we had to check out exactly how much this is actually pulling gallons per minute versus ampage and wattage to get exactly how much it's going to affect the bill. You can do that as well too. So that's more on the tech side of stuff of doing that. Yeah, it's just something. It's for doing. We'll add little things for us to be able to check on the systems if need be. If the lights don't ever happen to work, the GFCI can just make it fit. It's low voltage, so if it runs. Yeah, that's more in the spa. He's like, it's not funny, but it's not going to be spa. Like, bro, what do you mean it's not funny if I'm getting a spa? And then this conversation will stop real fast, man. Speak up. He goes, no, I feel tingling. I was like, all right. Yeah. I was like, this is getting kind of twisted. I go, well, you need to come out and look at us? Yeah. So a buddy of mine, me and him went out there. We stuck our hands inside the water. Sure enough, when the light was on, it was low voltage. We started tingling. I was like, dude, if someone had a high voltage light, man, it would have zapped them like that. but it wasn't, they didn't go to like a national builder, they went to like somebody who just said I can do it, and so they used ground wire for like lighting system, ran it through the conduit, spliced it underneath the water, and tied the light in. I was like, dude.
Wow. That's horrible.
What's cool about Premier, even if they have like hiccups or like some bad, stuff or whatnot, they do their part and try to make everything clean as best they can. So about less than 10?
In a little bit, yeah. And I think it recorded all of it. It stops. It restarts every 10 minutes. That's all it is, and it blacks out. The backlight turns off. So it recorded. I'm almost sure.
Let's make sure I have water up to that line or close to it. I'll take this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Goes off. Yeah. No pulling at all.
Wow.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test pH. Making sure the water levels at the pH line. Just keep right inside the plastic for it, and we'll say pH. Since there's no chlorine in it, I don't have to neutralize anything. If the chlorine was too high, what I would do is I would take a neutralizer, drop that in there to make the water where they can't read the chlorine when I do the pH. That's the only difference that I would do here.
But there's no chlorine.
So here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means we're there or higher. So that means the pH level is really high. So that means it needs to be dropped back down. And so that would be muriatic acid. Would also.
How much should I put in there?
That's the problem. You don't know.
I would start with probably a half a gallon.
And then recheck.
Then retest it in a couple hours.
Okay.
And then when you look at this, it'll actually say, if we're up that high, it needs to be added acid. Inside the chart, or inside here, they also give you, if you're in between so many gallons, how to drop it down as well. But it can see that I'll do, since it's always raising like how it is right now, I'd put that in there, a quarter to a half a gallon, drop it back down and retest it. Like I said, you're going to be fighting it a lot. So the last part, just to go through it. Alkalinity. So if the level was too high, the chlorine was showing that was a bright yellow, I would use this to neutralize it. But since it's low, I don't have to. I'll use this for the alkalinity. 1 drop. Spin it around. So what I'm looking for, since the pH is high, that means this is going to be high. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 14. So that means it's at 140. So we need to be between 80 and 120. So we're a little high on that one. A little bit more, a little high.
And that comes down with the uric acid also?
Yes, it will.
Is that the only thing it comes down with? Like, do I really need to test that? Like, if the pH is high, that's going to be high?
Rule of thumb, it always goes hand in hand. Yeah, if your pH is high, it's going to be high. If your pH is low, it's going to be low. But I would get used to, like, just in the beginning, just to testing it, just in case. But, I mean, if I was maintaining a pool, I would hit those two, run with it. If that thing was high, then I would just adjust it from that. But,
Sounds like what I'll do.
yeah, you know, there's some people out there they'll go and they like the Leslie's sheet printout. And there's like 13 things on there they test, 9 or 13 things. You don't need to know all that stuff.
Right.
That's a lot of stuff.
There's no
I
point.
don't want to know what my calcium hardness is in this thing.
It's hard.
It's like,
I already know.
it's like, man, I mean,
It's couple. I mean, I'll still swim in it right now, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no chlorine. I agree.
I've had where stuff has been off and people just, it doesn't matter. The thing that gets you is when that pH level is real low, that means the water is acidic. So that means everything starts itching. You get out of it and you're like, ooh, I feel it's getting me.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so that's the only time that ever happens. When it's flat.
All you have to remember is acid reflux.
So he's just going to label, huh?
The paper, just so you can fill it out. Kind of, how is the process? How is the communication? How is all that kind of stuff? If you find any problems, if you need notated or addressed to them, don't write in cursive. Print it out. Because I've had to recall or talk to them and try to give them what's going on. Just because if it's in cursive, there's some people like cursive.
What are you fixing this with?
I would just use that when you get like this slight buildup, just use that combo brush and clean it out. Leslie's, they do sell it's gray, it's a block.
Oh, I think that sounds terrible.
Yeah. And when you do that, because my teeth are already grinding. When you do that, you get that sound that not chopped, not like against the chop, but kind of like that.
Did you hit hammers?
Huh? Yeah, you gotta use it.
Oh.
Let that noise go right past every since you have on here. Yeah. But I mean, for the most part, you stay on it, keep your brushing with it, use that combo brush. That's a good that they gave you that one.
And what about this? What are you fixing? Do I clean these?
No, not really. Hosing them off and just doing that.
And
You
same
could
with
do
this?
You could do a sealer on it, but if you go that route,
I'm not.
okay. So just don't get one from Home Depot.
Why?
Because I've seen a lot of them after a couple of years they start flaking, where the water and the chemicals hitting it.
Yeah.
So then it's like, oh crap, when you get that into the water, it's a whole different bottle then.
Agreed. My floor's flaking.
The seal that they have is good. It's $300 for 5 gallons. And it doesn't cover a lot.
Do I have to worry about anything getting stuck in the little circle?
No, for the most of it, it should be able to get through. It's a 2 by 3 inch channel drain. There's 4 of them that go through, plus that 1 inch channel drain going around. So I mean,
I'm never like you like.
you can get like the little debris that's sitting in there right there. I mean, you could take like a hose with a good power nozzle and on the inside there, spraying it off and knocking that debris up. But for the most part, I mean, I'm not gonna have to worry about the systems you have right now. Just making sure that that's complete. And you can't put the cleaner into the first 30 days.
Can't put what cleaner in?
That cleaner into the first 30 days. Not put it together.
Okay.
Which is element mess up the premier doesn't want to be put in.
30 days after they spray.
Yeah. After water's been in.
Okay.
Any questions at all?
No, are you going to help me set up the little
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll do.
Because I don't have instructions on anything.
Okay. I'll show you how to do all that stuff
Okay.
as well. And then I'll do that based off the form.
You want a water?
If you have one, I'd appreciate it.
So you want me to go ahead and stop it?